Ms. Tony Miranda.
Pity. Due to the fact that I was denied by Tammy Atkinson without explanation a request to read the Elm City Community meeting minutes, I'm just giving you a broad overview of what we would like the board to address. The residents want the sheriff's contract. Due to the increased crime after departure, we really feel that we need a sheriff's back. The water billing is inaccurate due to the amount of air in the line and spinning meters. The introduction of air is coming from all broken water lines. Our water charges are too high for something that we can't actually use. We have the highest water fees in the state. The board increased our rates by $250,000 in 2021 to cover an $80,000 shortage. We want that addressed. We want the town to be proactive with fixing the water breaks around town and not waiting months to fix them, or fixing them incorrectly, like the break in front of the town hall that was just fixed a few weeks ago. And of course now it's leaking twice the amount of water that it was before. This is really laying a financial burden on us as residents. We really want someone to take responsibility for this. We want somebody to be financially responsible, like the town, since the town isn't fixing anything. DPW is telling residents that they have a leak on their end when their water bill is high. Residents are playing plumbers and only to find out that DPW was incorrect. There's actually no leak on their side. The town should be reimbursing these residents since it was the town's DPW department that told them to hire a plumber. The DPW was turning off residents' water on Fridays, leaving them with no way to remedy the situation until Monday morning. We would like the board to pass a motion that water cannot be disconnected on the last business day of a week. According to North Carolina Utility Commission Chapter 7 Rule R7-20F, reconnection charge. Whenever the water supply of water is turned off, the utility may make a reconnection charge approved by the commission, payable in advance for restoring service. The fee shall not be more than $15, except if the utility proves that the actual and responsible cost for restoring the service is greater than $15. The fee may not be set to more than actual cost. In addition, nowhere in the North Carolina Utility Commission rules does it say that you can charge a reconnection fee when the service has not actually physically been disconnected. At this time, really, somebody needs to make a motion to fix this. And we need to be in line with North Carolina rules and regulations, because we are not. Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Tony Miranda.
Now you're Tony.
I also thought we could put on the agenda for tonight to discuss some of the zoning board issues, but I was turned down without reason. I am a member of the planning board, so I thought that it would be appropriate. We'd be allowed probably 5 minutes to speak about what I wanted to speak about as far as adding to our ordinances regarding tobacco and vape shops in the city limits. My wife had put a call into Tammy to ask why we were not allowed to speak tonight. I think, again, it just keeps going back to lack of transparency. You know, with you guys, I wasn't going to sit up here and badmouth anybody. I was going to come in and just specifically state that I wanted you guys to make a motion to put in front of the planning board a discussion about changing our ordinances regarding smoke, vape shops, tobacco shops within certain areas, around churches, schools, houses, other similar businesses. Other counties and other towns have made their own ordinances regarding this to make sure that they don't go in sensitive areas. And I guess I'm going to take the last couple of seconds to ask if one of you guys would make a motion that this be put in front of the planning board for discussion, so that we can come back and vote on this at the next board meeting and hopefully have this taken care of before an application gets made to put a vape shop right in the center of town. believe that that would be good for the residents of Home City, and I don't think it would be an attractive business to have, especially when we're making moves to have real businesses come in, that would benefit the town. It's a self-serving business as far as I'm concerned, that has no benefit to the residents other than, causing disease and sickness. I don't think it's good. I don't think it should be in the city limits. But something like that should go out on rail lines. The other thing I wanted to discuss, a lot of people have been complaining to me about what's going on with Big Guns Automotive. The amount of cars that are there, the sidewalks that are blocked, cars on two separate properties, people can't see coming out of the streets, people can't walk down the sidewalks, they have to actually go out into the middle of the road to get around the vehicles that park on the sidewalks. I did do a little research, and those are two separate lots that he's utilizing. That one lot is actually zoned residential. It is not zoned for commercial use. He cannot be parking all those vehicles on that property. And on top of that, his zoning only allows him 6 vehicles on the property that he is inhabiting. So something's got to be done. When you guys are violating homeowners for having one car in their driveway, and he's got upwards of over 20, 21, 22 cars at any given time, it's not right. It's not fair. And he's taking advantage of the town. He's basically slapping me all in the face, saying he's going to do whatever the hell he wants to do.
Thank you, Mr.
But it
Murray.
needs to be addressed.
Thank you so much.
I got a question for Sean on the bait shops. Can that be brought, doesn't that need to be brought before the planning board so we can do that?
He can't be in the turn around, we just had a discussion on that, he can go off the planning board. We have our next meeting.
Okay, we don't need to make a
That's
decision.
all. The recommendation, thank you, we're gonna be heard tonight. Mr. Planning board on something this year. Consent, on behalf of planning board, can't do it. To the house, we all tell them to take it. So she is like.
Thank you. Ms. Lindsay, followed by Mr. Robert Johnson. I'm sorry, Commissioner?
I want to make an announcement on regarding, Ms. Miranda, for the first, topic about the sheriff department. We are asking, pretty much begging, and he has turned us down. It's nothing that we can't make him give us a, contract. We are asking, and we're steady trying to ask, and we're steady sending emails and writing. Yes, I know they said that we owe money or whatever, but we have asked, and I know, I personally, I'm talking about me, and I have been told personally, that we decided not to extend us and, Ducala. Yes, and this is what I'm hearing from his assistants, and they're telling us he has not, and that he has no, and he said it has nothing to do with any late charges or anything. This is also what I heard from his assistant, and they are not giving, extending us another, they said not for this fiscal year.
Thank you, Commissioner. We'll visit that in the future. Thank you so much. Ms. Eunice, followed by Mr. Johnson.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Eunice Smith, I'm back to South Carolina. I am on the Wilson County Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee up to for 2045. We met yesterday morning, and I was surprised to know that every town in Wilson County had their zoning districts on the map except Elm City. They are asking for parcel layer data of Elm City's zoning districts. This information is typically handled by a GIS coordinator of the town. Mr. Brad Thompson, Development Services Director, stated that he had reached out to the GIS coordinator in the past, but he hasn't been able to obtain this information. This information is needed as soon as possible because the comprehensive plan update for the public meeting is scheduled in April, and at the Wilson County Agricultural Center in Wilson, and I would like for Elm City information to be on the map. When we looked at it yesterday, every town in Wilson County was represented. ELM City was out here on its own, and nothing was on the map. And that embarrassed me, being part of ELM City, and then we're planning for 2045 down the line. So, I would appreciate it if y'all would get that information to the governmental services director as soon as possible, so we can go ahead with what we're planning on doing. I have the letter from him, and I've got one to each one of y'all, so.
One question, please. I did reach out about a year ago to the GIS department because our zoning was off. And Wilson County pretty much took it out because they said our stuff was out of record. So, but I have sent a map over to Mr. Matt at Wilson County Planning Department, because he did request one last week, and I sent a PDF one. So they should have one on file. Mr. Matt, the planning code for the building department, should have one, but if not, personally, more, whenever I can check, I can try to find out. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnston.
I know you might have heard from me before, been over and over again about the trees in front of my house at 309 Branch Street. Next door to 311, which they cut the big tree down so nobody stayed there. Right here at Parker Street, the state was sitting out here the other day, and they cut a tree down. And it was still state highway or whatever, but the state was in charge of it. By the time I got right in the street doing the state down, this white truck is left. They told me they were in charge of cutting the tree down. My complaint is, why you can't take a vote and get some of these large trees down when you, over people homes and power lines, and the detriment to us, the trees are leaning, you just ride the day when riding, look at the tree, they all got steps sticking down there, sticking in the leaves. All wind comes in the you got people living in the old people probably going to see whatever power goes out when you went out before. About a year and a half ago, the tree came down, it was like 5 or 6 hours. People were stuck up one bad job, you know. It's just something should be done, and if the state can do something on this end for those people, then why they can't do nothing for the people on this side of the country? If 309, you come cut the tree down to 311, don't nobody scared out, they burn the house down. But they cut that tree down, you got people living in these houses right across there, and they won't do nothing about it. You can see trees, dogs being on the other side of the house, across the street. Won't nobody do anything about it. I've been trying for 5 or 6 years, when the other man was here. And I come up here and I talk all the time with it, it's like, and it's, y'all take motion to vote on there, try to do stuff. We put people in the office trying to do things for us, people advocate on our behalf. I can go to the state and talk to them the way y'all can. Y'all connect. That's why we depend on y'all to do things for us like this. That's all I got to say. Thank you for hearing.
Mr. Johnson, I just had a quick question. Did you say that the state was cutting down a tree at 311?
No, that's only 309.
You're 309?
309, 311 is the church of House of Prayer right next to us. The house that they burnt down, they've been there for years, they burnt it down about 3, 4, 5 months ago. The fire department here. It's been just sitting there, they came and cut that tree down. There's nobody lives there or nothing. It's a big tree, but they cut it down. Don't nobody live in that house. You got people that live in my house, they can go across the street from Mr. Bridges going straight across the street with me. Houses, the tree will lean on all them houses. When anything comes down, it's gonna be a big mess, tear people homes, it might even kill somebody. At night, it's just bad. And I wish somebody would really do something about it. If you got disaster fund and they're doing stuff like that, if the state doing that over there, why they can't come and do something about other trees around there, man? You got a lot of big old trees in the city. And they say, oh, that's tree around here, those trees belong to the state. They told me that themselves. And they said, if you do anything about it, we're gonna fire you. and possibly lock you up. You know, so I ain't trying to do that. I'm a law-abiding citizen, I pay my taxes. Just saying, I just wish something could be done.
Mr. Johnson, the tree is at 309.
It's about 4 years, sir. You can see right through two of them.
I'm pretty sure we can call the state and get them to look at it.
If you would, it would be greatly appreciated, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Ms. Carla Stutz, followed by Ms. Teresa Summerlin.
My first question, John, is if the money for this driveway is being lost. The ARP money got used to fix. Second, I listened to the gentleman speak while ago, I think, and it seems to be said, I believe, he kept saying, I believe, nothing was factored. And then Bridget throws out these questions, like it was all staged.
Well, it wasn't.
Well,
There were
it
questions that I
appears to be
needed
that way.
to know. It wasn't staged.
Commissioners should have had a vote on the IT switching to people. That's what commissioners are here for. You are here to represent this town. You took an oath.
Amen.
And you're not acting or conducting yourself in a manner that you should do.
Amen.
You're allowing the mayor to make all the decisions, and she has her yes people and your yes no. Why aren't the books turned over to the CPA? Why haven't they been turned over? These are concerns that these citizens in this room have as well as myself.
Amen.
It is time that somebody, if you cannot handle or run this town any better than it's being ran, and I'm speaking to everyone except one, because he cares about this town. But it is time, as commissioners, that you quit being a yes person and do what's right for this town, and turning the books over to the CPA is very important, and it should have already been done.
Amen.
There's no excuses in it, and we're fed up with it, and we're gonna continue to voice until some changes are made in this thing. And if that means resigning your positions, if you can't fulfill them, and it's evident that some of you can, then you need to resign your positions.
Thank you so much, Ms. Carla. I think we have to address the term, when you use it, misappropriation, and that would leave a negative connotation amongst many who do not know the history behind that driveway. So why don't we just go ahead and try to address that around the board if we can, commissioners? Unfortunately, when the newspaper hears misappropriation of funds on a driveway without getting all of the facts, you leave with only maybe a third of the story. And so, is there anyone around the table who would like to address that at this time?
Well, I'll address it. I was at the meeting. I thought it was an ethics violation and a conflict of interest.
Amen.
That's why I did not vote for it. Now, they've got some minutes here from last year that says the motion passed unanimously, which is, there's nothing right about any of these minutes right here.
Amen.
The minutes say Slade Rand was there at the meeting, he wasn't at the meeting.
Amen.
Commissioner Bridgers didn't make the motion, and we made multiple motions at that meeting. And, it wasn't unanimous, because anybody at the meeting, Zach can tell you this, I voted against it. Actually, I think Commissioner Green made the motion. So, I mean, we voted on more than one issue, we had more than one motion made that night. So, it's weird to me that we've gone almost a year without these minutes. Now, they're showing up tonight. So, I mean, I've never seen anything like it.
Amen, amen.
Thank you. Is there any other commissioners around the table who would like to address? Yes, Commissioner.
Ladies and gentlemen, I will speak on that. Okay. Before I became a town commissioner, I came to the board and asked, I want you to quit saying my driveway. It's not my driveway, it's the sidewalk. Not only my sidewalk, it was my neighbor's sidewalk on the water was over. And if any of you seen the pictures of the amount of water that was in that driveway, you would be able to look at it and tell that it wasn't out of any favor. Sure, before the sidewalk, there was a little bit of water standing on the dirt because the dirt absorbed most of the water. When it rained after they put the sidewalk up there, as you would already both know, that the sidewalk and the concrete is not going to absorb the water, so the water stayed there for 3 or 4 days. Okay, once again, I contacted the state of North Carolina. They told me, even if I wanted to fix that driveway, just like they told the gentleman, even if he wanted to cut the trees down, that was in the state right away, and I couldn't. If I got a backhoe in that driveway, I could be liable for it. I could go to jail for it. Okay? So that is the reason why my sidewalk, and not only mine, the water ran all the way down to a neighbor's sidewalk, and it stopped. So it did my sidewalk and my neighbor's sidewalk. And ma'am, sir, whoever, if I thought I was liable, yes, I would pay it.
The water was standing there prior to the sidewalks being poured. I have pictures of it, and so do you. I presented them.
Right, and the water was standing
You
there.
told me standing in my yard that you were having that fixed because of the sidewalks. The sidewalks were not there prior to that. You had it fixed after. Investigate.
Thank you. I would just like to add that in 2011, the town of Elm City used grant funds with the sidewalk project. And we can bring the minutes, actually they'll be made available to everyone who would like them. I can personally make sure you get them if you come by the town office tomorrow. But in 2011, the town of Elm City with grant money underwent a sidewalk project. And we have months ranging back from several months in that year. And that sidewalk project happened to run right in front of Commissioner Mercer, and he was not there at the time. And as well as in front of one of his neighbor that he's mentioning. And so, from my understanding, if the town causes damage, I know if they come through and cause damage to my property, as one of our public works crew members did with a property that's across from the post office, I think about a year and a half ago. Our crew ran in an effort to help clean out a ditch. It marred the land, and I had to send our public works crew back out there, Commissioner Willer can attest to this, to fix the problem that we caused.
The sidewalk did not cause
So
that.
during the project in 2011, and I do have several of those minutes, the town caused a problem at that particular portion of the sidewalk. And so when the town makes a mess, it causes damage to someone's property. And I will only stand on the facts. Again, those minutes will be available I'll stay up all night. And Melissa, I'll make sure you have several of those minutes. And they date for at least about maybe 6 months. That'll give the community a little history on that, because it keeps resurfacing. And if we stick to the minutes like we generally like to, it'll give you a little background information. So that'll be available at Town Hall, all of those minutes from that project, sidewalk project, in 2011.
I'd like to say something about it.
Yes,
What about the minutes?
The sidewalk was put in 2012. The town did not cause any damage to that property.
Exactly.
We have pictures flooding back in the driveway before there was even a sidewalk there.
Exactly.
The driveway didn't cause the problem, not the sidewalk. The sidewalk was contoured to the ground. So, I mean, to keep saying we damaged something, the town did not damage anything in this situation. Matter of fact, I mean, it was done 12 years before he got his driveway and sidewalk fixed. I mean, 11 years. Like, if he had a beef with the town of Elm City, there's a lot of other avenues he could have used
Limitations ran out.
to address it. Of course, he didn't live there back then. But even, there's multiple issues, ways of handling that without trying to get the town to do it when you're a commissioner.
Exactly.
That's why I voted against it. I thought it was an ethics and conflict of interest problem.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Amen.
Again, those minutes will be available on town hall. We'll now hear from Ms. Teresa Summerlin, followed by Vanessa Mercer, and Ms. Marshall West. Ms. Teresa Summerlin, Vanessa Mercer, and Ms. Marshall West.
One thing I want to mention, I think that a lot of people may be getting carried away with, is the fact that, it's not the fact that I think the driveway or sidewalk that was fixed. I think Carla's point is the funding, where the funding came from. I think that's where she's questioning, because I don't know how many people know what ARP
And I'm
funds are.
questioning the whole thing.
And I think that was her thing, but that's not what I'm here to speak about, what I wanted to say. It wasn't that she got fixed, it was just where the funds came from that she's concerned about. I mean, is that right?
No,
Oh, no.
the sidewalk was not there and water was standing there. I'm a neighbor, I know. I took pictures, every one of you have the pictures, I gave them to you. So, it's, you know, and misappropriation of funds because it's unethical for a commissioner to get his driveway done when he becomes a commissioner, I'm sorry.
I digress.
That's it. When other people in this town have issues and can't get it done.
My issue, excuse me, I got you. My issue or my concern here is I'm following back up on the sheriff's office, as you were mentioning earlier. And I had a sit-down meeting with Calvin Woodard about the issues back in January, February. And his comment was, he wasn't gonna try to fight to renew, he would renew, and he'd be glad to renegotiate issues. But he's only willing to work with Commissioner Bill Wheeler. So my question to you, as you asked, he's only willing to work with Commissioner Wheeler.
Then that's the problem right then and there.
That's not a problem.
That's not a problem.
It's not a problem. Just as well as you are.
But that duty falls under me.
Ma'am?
That duty falls under me. And I'm just as much of a commissioner as he, even though he's got. And he did not tell me that.
His issues, as far as actually not communicating, is he felt like he had a really good communication with Commissioner Wheeler, and that he was having some issues with one of the, with a commissioner on the board, calling and making derogatory comments, racist comments, at his deputies. He had some problems with a commissioner making comments, cursing, 911 operator calls, things come to his house, and he says, I don't need to stand for that. He said, there's a big difference between the truth and a lie, and I think there's a whole lot of lies going on somewhere. But I will say, no matter what you have to do, if you have to partner up with Commissioner Wheeler, maybe that's what the town needs. Maybe you and Commissioner Wheeler can go together and put this teamwork together, because there's no I in team.
That's right.
Maybe you go together,
Yeah.
maybe you two go together and have a conversation with him, because since the sheriff stopped patrol on midnight, February 14th, there have been multiple car break-ins. There's been a home invasion on Friday following the stopping of the patrol. There's been the vandalized dumpster with extremely ugly language. There was a fire set near a dumpster on Main Street, near some little company propane tank, which could have caused a massive disaster. The Methodist church windows have been broken into by vandals. The furniture was stolen from the yard of a resident. So to say that this is not a scary time and very critical time to make some decisions and work together instead of against each other, I think that this is our time. And I think that you need to have plans to renew, not financial obligations, none of that, all that set aside. The safety and security of this community and our citizens is at the first and foremost. There's no need to point fingers about, I tried this or I tried that. Maybe you come together as a group and share work. Because that's got to happen. These things have got to stop. It's only been a month, and look at all the stuff that's happened. People are scared. So my question to you is, do you have plans to go in and renew this? And are you really concerned about the community where you can bring them back effective immediately?
Of course, because I'm part of the community as well.
Commissioners, can we, go ahead and address that tonight? If we can, since, Commissioner Wimberly, if you're over that, since you're over that department, can you, if you will, schedule a time with Commissioner Wheeler, for the two of you all to possibly do whatever it is that you can do to communicate with Sheriff Calvin in an effort to, thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Ms. Vanessa Mercer and Ms. Marshall Wells.
Thank y'all for what you have done. I have no complaints with y'all, none whatsoever. You got rid of violate, booth, correct. Trash being picked up, no problem. My water bill high, yeah, everything is high. Some of y'all ain't never seen me here before in a town meeting. I came before the pandemic. Way before. Ain't never seen some of y'all don't even hear me on the I don't believe. But you want to come in here and cause drama. But I know what it is.
We here to tell the truth.
I'm gonna address the thing that don't get here on the name talking about what it is. It's a black boy. And you running them down.
No, you were the racist.
I told you tonight they did. I came up to you and I said, I agree with you. But what happened?
You're gonna allow her to continue to call us all racist, right?
No, you're not.
I gave some respect, thank you.
Just a second, out of respect of our board, this is our board. It's not a one man, two man, this is our board. We've allowed you all to do your public comments with no interruptions.
I have never stood up there and called any of you racist. I've never stood up there and called anybody in this room racist. She stood up there and called us all racist.
In control, we cannot ask. Some other comments were made as well that we don't agree with, but we allow you all to express it. Just let her express it.
Okay, express.
Yeah, express it, not in a racist way.
I think something is just a second.
Just because you don't like what this lady said, she has a right to say it.
Okay, they've shut me down because they don't like what I say.
I'm just telling you that you don't have to like, she can read the dictionary there if she wants to for 3 minutes. And she has an absolute right to do that. There are certain limitations on that, but if what she says is offensive to you, then so be it. You really don't have to.
I think being called racist is a little more than just offensive.
She has a right to do that.
I think being called racist is a little bit more than offensive, okay?
Just like everyone else said, Ms. Mercer, please.
I stand by what I see and what I heard.
Causing a problem.
Okay, I believe the cut the snake off at the head. What you ain't gonna do is grin in my face. At the same time, you gonna stab me in my back. It don't work that way. Not here. That water was in my driveway, in his driveway when I stayed in the house. Not as bad. Okay? I'm quite sure he can pay me for that driveway.
Well, good.
He don't have a problem with that.
Good.
Now you talking about the, y'all want to fuss about the police department. Then if you pay the money to Wilson County for your taxes, you got a right to tell Cameron Wood to come up here to talk to you. Call the radio station, newspaper. Stop beating up on them. They here to help us. It's more than what y'all might see. There's something else going on, y'all. You got to think. It ain't just them. It ain't just happening with this bullshit. How long you been here? And what we doing? Jack.
Ding, ding, 3 minutes up.
And so we do.
Time's up.
Thank you so much.
I got some more stuff. I know something. I I see, didn't I hear the man right there, he said retention. But I don't believe you did it, I believe you did it, I believe you did it, I believe you did it. But somebody knows.
That's right.
It could have been the previous board, we don't know, stop beating them up. We don't know. But you had the paper today, and they talk about, people like people were stealing. I took offense to that, my brother, I should have said this, but yeah, that's my brother, he's on this board, he's a commissioner. Yes, but I know he won't steal it, so he works, he don't mind working. We won't raise like that. So if you got a problem, you want to call WTPD 11. Tell him to come. And get down for wood. Shoot, he's not picking up on these people. How can you do what y'all do? Keep your feet to the fire. Amen. Keep your feet to the fire.
Wells, thank you, sir. Ms. Marshall, Wells.
I want to start with everybody that lives in Elm City knows that we live in a flood zone. Everybody that lives in Elm City knows that we may have water coming in our back door at any time. I've got 3 driveways. I would love for the town to come get the water out of mine. I was so thankful the town put a sidewalk in front of my house. I sure as the devil wasn't gonna ask the town to fix my driveway. Water stands in my yard? Have I even thought about blaming the town for that? No. If we want to get it fixed and put it in the driveway, we will. If we don't, we won't. But it's not the town's responsibility for every little thing that happens in town. And it really includes board members. I really think Mr. Mercer should step down as a board member, because he has opened up a huge can of worms. Y'all should listen to Gil Wheeler and listen to the man that the town voted to be the mayor pro tem. And y'all put him out mayor pro tem because you thought you were better at doing the job, and you're not. Because you don't know people in this town, and you don't know what's gonna upset people. You haven't served the town for the years, and y'all made a huge mistake making you mayor pro tem, man. And Gil Wheeler should be mayor pro tem. He got 129 votes. That was the most votes, more than the mayor. So he should be the mayor pro tem, and y'all should listen to him. And the reasons that we were given tonight of meeting the mayor pro tem situation was that he didn't get along with Wanda, and you did. What's that got to do with anything how the voters vote? I think this board needs a huge study session on a Saturday on God first, and 2, you need to understand the difference between what you can do legally and what you can do morally, and that you're going to have to answer to God for. Because that day is coming, and you'll be standing up there all by yourself. And when you have to answer it, just like I'm going to have to answer for me, we've got to think about our neighbor, our town. I would have taken $8,000 of a pot of money if it was doing it. Elm City needs a park. Elm City, there's so many things we need to be playing the fire department and helping the paying the sheriff. Not fixing me in Strawway, especially somebody on the board. If it was the only one that met the criteria for the COVID fund, that would be a totally different picture. But he's not. He haven't even made an attempt to spend COVID funds on anybody other than the board member. And to me, that's disgraceful. It's disgraceful behavior on all your part. And I want to talk about the planning committee, but I know I'm over 3 minutes, but if you give me about 2 seconds. We need to get committees going. We need to have a planning, we got the planning committee, we need to have an events committee, we need to get people to sign up for the committees, maybe at the next meeting, we can have an agenda or roster out for what people are interested in. I know that my neighbor across the street.
You exceeded 3 minutes, thank you.
And she could really help do that. And then we need children.
Thank you, Ms. Marshall. Thank you. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. We will continue on with our agenda. Action items. Board, we've had a resignation of a finance officer in December, and then we had an accounting specialist on board who had to resign because of a conflict with her job. So the town needs a finance officer. So the state is only going to recognize what for so long that we don't have one. So we need to appoint a finance officer. And the reason why that's on the action item is because if we have not yet secured the position of a town clerk and finance officer, we need to appoint one. It is imperative that this board appoint, either hire a town clerk or finance officer, or either appoint one.
What about an official town manager? Do we have a full-time town manager?
We don't have a full.
And
Excuse me, just a moment, thank you. Board, if we don't appoint a finance officer, we're in trouble. Of course, the state doesn't recognize that. We used to have one, and now we don't. But it is up to this board to appoint a finance officer. Or either, we've had interviews for the position of town clerk, finance officer. You're gonna have to do one or the other. I'll let the board deliberate on that. But the longer we wait, the worse off it is.
Where's the CPA? What about the
So also, excuse me, thank you, board. As we go through the list, I don't know how you want to do it, we will meet with representatives of Governor Roy Cooper's office here tomorrow with their Hometown Strong initiative.
Oh, good.
That's under the, I don't think we have to vote on that. We'll be in session with them here tomorrow at 9 a.m. Representative Governor Roy Cooper's office will be here tomorrow with their Hometown Strong initiative. That doesn't need a vote. What we see here also is allowing access to full records for Brett Isley's firm. But again, we need to go back in the order in which it is here. Conversation around the table on the appointing of a finance officer.
Well, first off, I'd like to make a motion once again to allow Greg Isley's firm full access to our books.
We can take that, they're all action items. Board, there's a conversation around the table with allowing Greg Isley's firm full access to records. And before you answer that, I just got my eyes on a contract on this evening, had not seen one before. It looks like this contract with Greg Isley's office was signed by a former, it says interim town administrator / town clerk, June 30th of 2021. And let me give you what I do know about full access. Nowhere that I've been, no class that I've been in, not one finance officer says it's right to allow a CPA firm to have full access. Full access means that it's different than read-only. Read-only means that you'll be able to see all the
They don't
reports
have
that you
any
need.
access. What are you talking
Full
about?
access is a little bit more. So,
How about
excuse me, please, excuse me, out of respect for business that we do need to handle. Thank you so much.
How about a snitch?
So one, I'm just now seeing a contract on this evening from CPA firm Greg W. Isley. And it is an action item on tonight to allow them full access to our system, which means that they can enter and edit anything that they want. Our read-only access means that they're able to pull any report that they need. So I'll leave it in the hands of the board. I'm not sure if everyone sees the contract. This is my first time seeing it.
First of all, getting back to that, Greg Isley's firm does multiple towns and has full access to these town records. They need to continue doing the work that we do, that we need to get to our audit. They've been doing it for almost 3 years now. So why pull it from now? Is the question a lot of people have.
That's a conversation, for the board, I also have a conversation as well. Did they just get, when did their access get, full access get cut off?
Their full access was cut off only about 2 months ago. All this time that they've been all this time they've had full access. And with issues going on that seemed a little bit abnormal.
You think?
So we were thrown into a position. Now we don't have a finance officer. So now we're learning a whole lot of things. So they've had full access. I guess and prior to this contract here, they've been around the town for years, even longer than 2021. They've always had full access.
So why no audits was done during that time?
I can't answer that.
Mayor, may I butt in for this a little bit? They don't do your audits. A lot of people are in the conception that Greg Isley's company audits the town.
So why any information, why was it?
Because you cannot do an audit unless you provide the auditor the materials that he needs to perform your annual audit.
Okay, so why didn't they provide them with that?
Why didn't the town provide it?
No.
The town has not provided Greg Isley access, according to them. They've had access issues since before Christmas, dating back to December. They were almost completed with their work that would get through 2022 so they could get that information to your auditor. And then he could do the annual audit that's required to be submitted to the LGC. The auditor has been for as long as I can remember, a guy named Greg Redmond. And Greg Redmond, I brought, if you wanted to see this, I just had one in my computer, I put it out with a curve from, this is the 2021, the last audit was 2021, it was actually done, I think, in December, completed. So the reason that you hired Greg Isley's company in 2021 was because the board knew that you didn't have anybody in the office that could do this work at that time. So, Dee was a former clerk, so she was serving as an administrator and clerk and a finance officer, which is way too much for one person to do. So the board decided at that point to hire Greg Isley's company to get the information together to provide to the auditor, Greg Redmond. And so that's what happened. And Greg Redmond did all of this is part of it right here in 2021. Now, I spoke with Greg Redmond this afternoon. I also spoke with Colin Callahan with Greg Isley. Right now, you're required to have an audit contract with the auditor once it's ready to start doing what the law requires. You don't have a contract right now with the auditor. But he's still willing to do the work, which means you would do a new audit contract with Greg Redmond. The reason that you hired Isley is so they can get your books squared away and get to the audit. And they have not been able to do that, they tell me, because they've not had access. And you can, I'm not saying this to point fingers at anybody, but I'm just saying that's what they're telling me. That's what that board came last week to tell you. And again, they're working for you.
Understand?
The auditor is not exactly working for you. He's reviewing the books to report to the state what his review shows. The Greg Isley is consultant is here to help you. They can help you in all sorts of ways. You can expand the contract if you want to. You can take and say, look, we'll go in another direction. But right now, whether you hire a finance officer today or whenever you hire one, that person is going to need help to get things caught up to the present. So he or she can move forward with what you need done. And so my advice is any delay, any further delay jeopardizes your status in the state. What they usually, in my experience, what they've done with a lot of towns is they see that you're behind with audits. A lot of people don't realize that many towns are behind with audits. In fact, some of them are much farther behind than you are. So it's not like you're the only one that's behind, but you need help getting caught. If the LGC sees that you were working toward that and you got help, you got time to think help you, they are less likely to come in and look at the, come in and warn you back. And that's what they're interested in. So right now you've been in limbo for about 3 months now. And the said, you have a part-time finance officer in Dina who actually works through the county. And so, I don't, you know, that's up to you who you decide to use, if you use anybody, but my advice is to agree to allow them the access they need for their contract that they have. If you don't want to let them do it, then hire somebody else.
It would be my suggestion that we table this for tonight so that everyone has an opportunity to look at the contract. It's my first time seeing it, unless you all are ready to move on it.
If you table this for another month, you're jeopardizing your finances.
Board, what is your pleasure?
I made a motion to allow them full access so they can get going. We need to get them going back again.
Mayor Pro Tem has a.
So with them having access, can we see what they're doing?
They, I don't know if you'll see the result, because I've never been involved internally. I mean, I don't have access to this stuff. I don't come in and look. I don't have remote access to anything. But I'm sure that if they're using smart fusion can probably see some things they're doing. But no matter who you got, they're going to be doing things in your system. I mean, it could be internally with somebody you hire. Whoever you have helping you, your county board is going to have access to do what they need to do. And so they will set up these smart fusion.
I think the issue is, full access versus read-only. So any CPA firm is going to need access.
That's not the issue. Their issue is they may need to make corrections for entries that they see that have been done incorrectly so they can provide the correct information to the auditor. So they may need to make entries. If you need some reassurance, then perhaps it would be a good thing to have them come in and work with you in the office and explain, these are the things that we will do, these are the things that we won't do. Like I say, Beth Moore said, they will not change the bank records. They're talking about the term. They don't have any access to your bank records. They're not going to be able to go in there and take money out, move money around. What they can do is they can look and see the entries that have been made during the fiscal year 2022 and 2023 that need to be changed to correct them and make them correct. They will do that. That's my understanding. I think it would help you if you want some reassurance to get somebody from there to come to Elm City in the office and meet with you and say, this is what we're doing. This is exactly what we need to do to get this finished. So if you don't like that, you can hire, like I say, you can hire. Before the meeting started, I've spoken to some of the town reps, and they've got some similar issues, and they're gonna hire, a new person to do that for them. And I can give you names of people who do this kind of work if you're not satisfied with it. Great idea, but I urge you to go ahead and give them access to do what they need to do, at least to finish 2020.
According to this contract that I'm looking at, one, I don't know when it expires, but the contract that was signed by, and I choose not to use names, but Attorney, you did. The contract that was signed by a former finance officer, it clearly has two boxes. One says inquiry only, limited. And the other one says inquiry and trading. So the company it's listed here on our action item as full access, I would say, two, when did this contract expire that was not entered into by this board?
Number one, the contract is not expired.
And two, it says inquiry only.
The question I think you have is, when did this, I'll start backwards. When does this contract expire? And the answer is, it is not. This contract also calls for additional work if you request it. And they explain some of that. But it's a letter of engagement that Dina was authorized to sign on behalf of the town of Elm City. If you want to change this contract, then you can talk with Craig Isley about that. If you want to stop it, you can say no more, we'll get somebody else. But you're going to need somebody. The point I'm trying to make is you don't have to have Greg Isley, but you've got to have somebody in the office that knows what they're doing. That can come in and help you catch you up so that you can get your audit stuff. So whoever that is, and it's been Greg Isley since 2021, and they help you were behind in, and they help you get the 2021 audit completed. your obligations as a town, if you get obsessed with the minutia of contract, about what somebody can and can't do, you're missing the forest for the truth.
Amen.
You can talk to them about what you want, what you're doing, but I'm hearing, I think some of you need some reassurance. And I may be wrong, but I'm hearing that you need them to explain to you in a way, and personally, I think helps, while maybe you're in the office and you can see what they're doing, they can explain. Maybe you can talk with Greg Redden's office and he can tell you what they do. And I spoke with Greg a month ago, and I asked him, because you were behind, specifically, did he have anybody that he could recommend to the town to help you get your books up to date? You know who he told me? The guys, because they're already working. So he's the expert CPA, he's the guy that's running all this for at least 2 years. That's who he recommended. So that's why I'm recommending that you continue using them with the caveat that you don't have to use somebody else's.
Amen.
Board, if you don't mind, I'll just read the contract here that was from 2021. This letter is to confirm our understanding of the terms and objectives of this engagement and the nature and limitations of the outsourced accounting services that will be provided beginning in the month of August 2021. Accounting and record keeping. We will gain an understanding of the key accounting policies, principles, and procedures being followed, record keeping methods and data maintenance, file structures and file contents, and the timeliness of reporting and reporting mechanisms. If recommendations for changes are noted as they pertain to safeguarding of assets, weaknesses in internal controls, or efficiency and effectiveness of the accounting staff, they will be discussed with management. We will assist with the implementation of proposed changes as directed by management. This work will be done on an ongoing basis. Now for the financial statements. And in connection with the financial statements, we will review journal entries, request and perform specific account analysis, compare budget to actuals, review the assumptions used in revenue recognition, and perform other procedures as needed. The above work will be done on a timely basis to ensure that the town meets its timetable for distribution of the financial statements. The above procedures do not constitute an audit, review, or compilation of the financial statements in accordance with the standards established by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants. The work performed above will be done on an as-needed hourly basis, which limits our involvement and knowledge of the daily operations of the town. Because of this, there is a risk that material errors, irregularities, or illegal acts, including fraud or defalcation, may exist and may not be detected by us. By signing, the town acknowledges this fact and agrees to indemnify us should any of the above situations occur. Special projects. During the course of our engagement, under the written authorization of management, we will assist with various projects of the town. These can include, but are not limited to, cash management, other tax issues, personnel procedures, review of insurance coverage, computer software installation, for which a separate engagement letter will be issued, financing arrangements, training of accounting personnel, liaison with vendors and customers or other professionals engaged by the town, and assistance with development of operating budgets and forecasts, indemnity. To the extent we are acting on behalf of the town and at the direction of management, the town agrees to indemnify us for any damages that may result from our good faith actions. Confidentiality. During the course of this engagement, we may have access to proprietary information of the town, including, without limitations, oral, written information and material concerning or pertaining to the town's trade secrets, business methods, plans, and/or projects. We acknowledge that such information, regardless of its form, is confidential and proprietary to the town, and that we shall not use, copy, or disclose the information in whole or in part in any manner or to any person or entity without the express prior written consent of a duly authorized officer of the town. Fees. Statements for services will be sent on a monthly basis and are payable within 15 days. The current billing rate for our services is $100 an hour. Fees do not include out-of-pocket expenses advanced on behalf of the town, such as hotel, travel mileage, meals, billed at applicable state rates, computer charges, telephone calls, postage, photocopying, etc. These will be billed separately. Our understanding is this engagement will have a minimum period of 1 month, beginning from the time this engagement letter is signed. If any dispute arises among the parties hereto, the parties agree to first try in good faith to settle the dispute by mediation administered by the American Arbitration Association under its rules for professional accounting and related services disputes before resorting to litigation. The cost of any mediation proceeding shall be shared equally by all parties. Client and accountant both agree that any dispute over fees charged by the accountant to the client will be submitted for resolution by arbitration in accordance with the rules for professional accounting and related services disputes of the American Arbitration Association. Such arbitration shall be binding and final. In agreeing to arbitration, we both acknowledge that in the event of a dispute over fees charged by the accountant, each of us is giving up the right to have the dispute decided in a court of law before a judge or jury, and instead we are accepting the use of arbitration for resolution. We appreciate the opportunity to be of service to you and believe this letter correctly expresses the significant terms of our engagement. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you agree with the terms of our engagement as described in this letter, please sign the enclosed copy and return it to me. This letter will continue in effect until canceled by either party. User request, government entity, Town of Elm City. User Greg Isley, CPA. Access type requested. Inquiry only, limited. I'll pass it around the room. Even their request is for inquiry only. Per signed by this company. There you have it. You can pass it here in charge, right?
I'm the one that I don't know why you read that out, but these good parts, you believe that they don't need access to do what they want to do. They're telling you now what they do. They've been saying that for months. If you think they don't, then you can find somebody else and perhaps they'll tell you something different. But if you brought them in the office, instead of being online, they would have full access. They'd be able to pull whatever they wanted to, they'd be sitting at a computer doing something in the office. So, as I said, if an accounting firm of this stature tells you they need this access, not a single person on this board, and including your lawyer sitting at this table, knows what these people need to get done. Because you don't do it in accounts. And so, like I said, if you don't like what these people are telling you, then you need to get somebody else to do it. Because you're not going to get the work done unless you do it. And that's what I keep saying. So, if you want to talk about a contract and get figured out some language,
It calls for additional services as needed, including the cost of performing other procedures as needed, which would include going in. It's clear that the contract is allowed, if that's what they need to do. And I don't understand the problem. It's not my decision to make. My concern from a legal perspective and from a finance perspective is that you are not allowing these people to do the job. You have expressed concern, maybe you have, including the computer guy, that there's been something going on internally in the office and it's originated not from out there, but inside the office. And you're not allowing people to come look at it. That is not a good look for the town from the outside if somebody comes in and investigates the town. It's not a good look.
I just want to correct you. So the issues that the IT gentleman brought up, we were all baffled by it as well.
I understand that, but I'm saying that if you're concerned that you're internal, then you got somebody already on board that's helping you with accounting issues, that can track money if you need to do that right now, and you're not giving them access to do their job. So if you don't like that company, then find somebody else to do it, because you need them now. You've already indicated there's a problem, there's a need inside the office, or there's a possibility. And I don't know, I can't say it any stronger than I have. Any lawyer will tell you the same thing. And like I said, maybe an accountant, another accountant will say there's another way, I don't know. But that's what you're looking at right now. And I think that you should just vote up or down if that's what you want to do.
Attorney, if I will, if I can, if I may. I feel rushed in the midst of, you have kind of a lot of, excuse me, you have an IT guy who has some alarming facts. And we're feeling rushed for the first time looking at a contract that says, let me see it again. Excuse me, sir. I feel rushed in a situation that we were forced into by someone's findings. So for me to give a company, and you're saying verbally, and they have something here written different than what you're saying, it says inquiry only, limited. So I don't know who to believe, so that's why it's on the board.
We believe you.
So here's limited access per 2021. In the midst of what appears to be some storm with IT issues, I feel very uncomfortable personally. I feel very uncomfortably personally with someone who says there's a third party. There was a third party situation being used that not even our operating system, Smart Fusion, was aware of. What else are we going to find? But this doesn't lie with me. I can walk out of the room and let the board handle the rest of it. But because I believe, we're not saying we don't want this company. I just feel like there's a rush to something that we're constantly finding. And whatever this IT guy has just found, please, we're handling business here. And you have had your 3 minutes done. Or this is going to be up to you all to decide. I'm just telling you, I feel very uncomfortable giving someone full access to enter, edit, transact, and move figures in our system when we just had an alarming IT issue.
Oh my God.
That's me, or so.
You know what? I don't know if I can see
First of all,
I'm ready to go.
if the town was going to be taken over by the state, the irony of it would be that Greg Isley's firm is one of the ones that would come in and do it. They are a state-approved, LGC-approved contractor. They were recommended to us. The local government commission recommended Greg Isley to us. Second, you denied access to the CPAs without board approval.
And you
You did.
I'll give you the honor.
checks, which Greg Isaac can help us with that, she said last week. We're paying vendors with credit cards. Which that eliminates the two-party check process, and I didn't know we were doing that. Now, how is CPA gonna handle paying vendors with credit cards? And I've never heard anything like it. At the end of the month, we have to provide another update to the LGC because we're on the UAL list. And right now, the board hasn't had any information, any financial information for 2 months. And all these handwritten checks are not entered into the system. And here it is, March 12th. We got 19 days to the end of the month. There's no way anybody can do that. Greg Isley's company can do that. They can come in and help us with the handwritten checks, catch us up, and anything else we need to do.
We the people want that.
That's what your voters want.
But we need to get going. It's like a stall tag. There is no issue with Greg Isley's firm. I don't even know why it's the issue now. That is what's baffling me. But like I've said to all the board members, and we are in jeopardy of being taken over by the state. And what's going to happen is the town sort of goes in neutral for 3 years. They take over all the books. They take over most everything. They even do the hiring and firing for you. And when they get it straight, they hand it back to you. But it usually takes about 3 years, that entire process. So, I think we need to go ahead and give them access. Whatever access they need, we need to give it to them and let them keep going.
Amen.
Yeah, amen.
So there's a lot that happened when you say 2 months ago. There's a lot that has happened in the last 2 months. One, I did not deny them access to what their contract says. I denied them full access. No. I didn't deny them full access. They've had full access since 2021. Why we have not had an audit since then is beyond me with a company that has had full access up until 2 months ago, when they were limited to read-only access. So I need to correct you there. I'm not done. I'm not done, sir. So they've had full access since 2021. I'm not going to bear the weight of why we don't have an audit in 2024 with a company that has had full access this long. I don't know what happened in the last 3 years with full access. Number two, please, we do ask you to respect our business at hand. Our meeting could have been adjourned by now, but we're giving you a bird's eye view into what goes on in a 30-day process. So, I much like Commissioner Wimberly, with a company that has had full access since 2021, I would like to know why we haven't had an audit. Two, they have read-only access. They do. They don't have full access to go in and move things. They do have read-only access. That is verified by through Smart Fusion. I can tell you the last time they logged in. So I do not feel comfortable being pressured. I don't have a problem with Greg Isley. My issue is, I don't know him. Never met him. Never met any of his representatives. And this is the first time that I laid eyes on a contract that I didn't sign. So I just wanted to say that. With our journal entries board, Tiandra has been with us for a while. If you look at your packet, we might as well just skip over that. We'll go right over it too. If you look at that folder that I gave you, you'll find the bank statement from January. You'll find the bank statement from February. You'll also find power bill monies that we have with Capital Management Trust, $85,000. $55.55. By the way, our former finance officer has been telling me at least the last 6 months that needs to be transferred into our general account, but I refuse to transfer anything. It's still sitting there. You'll also find board our ACH payment, most recent from Wilson County. In January, monthly distribution of taxes transferred into our general account of $122,437.48, and for the Parker Street EMS of $93 in February. That is most recent. You also find a list of our vendors that we have, those who we pay here in town. And then you also find our vendor activity report. I just want to let you know, since it would be well to just pick up the phone and say, Mayor Moore, some of these things, instead of me having to, this has now turned into a session here, and I don't mind, I'm very patient. But if you look at your vendor activity report of the vendors that we have, someone's in-house is putting journal entries in, someone who's capable and someone who's able. So from January 2024 to the end, you'll find vendor report activity, and they're alphabetized. And you can look at those unless you just want me to read them. There's nothing in here. Excuse me, thank you. So you have vendor report activity, you have recent bank account information, you have information and accurate figures from capital management and trust. I'll just read it. You have a payroll account that was highly suggested so we can further upstand internal control issues here in the town of Nelson City. Everything should have not been blended in a general account. So there's been, under our accounting specialist who had to resign because of a conflict, who suggested, Mayor, you all need a payroll account. One was open, there's nothing in it. We don't have a finance officer. There you have there. There's a vendor list. And again, if you'll take a look at January 2024 by Southern Bank, our beginning balance from January 1, 2024, again, a lot has gone on in the last 2 months. $961,614.46. Withdrawals for the month of January, $155,172.26. No service charge. Interest paid through January 31st was $232.98. If you take a look at February, can't give you March because we haven't finished with March yet. So the beginning balance in January was $961,614.46. The beginning balance of February was $1,058. $1,058,768.90. Deposits $244,183.13. Withdrawals for the month of February $121,000. You have it in front of you. I made a copy for everyone. $121,008.30. No service charge. Interest paid through date $245.54. Or what you have is a CPA firm that's been around since 2021. I wish I could answer why we don't have an audit before now. Unfortunately, I can't from 2021. With a CPA firm that has had full access up until 2 months ago when I restricted it and limited it to read-only access per your contract. Please, thank you. So, the funny business is not with this board, as someone so eloquently defended you, Mr. Mercer. So with all of this background information, somebody's trying to cram down our throat. Why don't you give a company that's had full access since 2021?
That's right.
Give it to them, give it to them. They've had full access for 3 years.
What date was the 2021 audit?
They've had full access for 3 years. They are not, no, I was talking. I didn't give a pause, and I gave him due respect. So now, they have read-only access They've always had full access. They only have read-only access. So now, board, to you to decide, you can table it, you can move on it, or we can be here all night, it's certainly fine. I just wanted to give you a little background information. Board, I will yield to you now on that.
What date was the 2021 audit complete?
Make a motion. I make a motion.
I've already made a motion. I made a motion to allow Greg Isley full access, to whatever access they need to get their job done.
Commissioner Mercer made a motion for full access. Board, what is your pleasure? Commissioner Wheeler, I'm sorry. Board?
Aye.
Any seconds?
Nay.
Motion runs.
He seconded.
Oh, did you second? Motion has been moved and properly seconded for full access to CPA firm Greg Isley. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposers? It is carried. Thank you. There's a motion and there's a second, I'm sorry?
Nay.
Could we poll the voters so I could hear?
I think there's a two, was it 2, 4, and 2 minutes?
Poll the voters.
Poll the voters.
Beth Wood explained last week what she does and does not have access to, so you should have been.
I basically did, with the IT gentleman's coming in, and coming in basically in so many words, quote unquote, saying we have a bootleg system that we've been running off. That's basically just, I need to be a little bit more reassured. So that's what I'm It's good there, he said.
If I'm not mistaken, was that 2 for and 2 against?
They bounced it off.
So that's 2 for and 2 against. So, we have, that motion doesn't carry, it's a tie.
You won't get reelected.
Am I correct? So, the motion on the floor to allow Greg Isley's firm full access was moved and properly seconded. But there was 2 for and there was 2 against.
And you're the tiebreaker then.
So,
The mayor's the
according
tiebreaker.
to the ethics of how we run our board,
You're the tiebreaker.
we yield to you, Attorney Rand, at this time. There's 2 for and 2 against, allowing Greg Isley's firm full access to our financial records.
Yes.
I'm sorry, we will hear from our attorney now. There's 2 for and 2 against. What do we do now when there's a tie?
The mayor votes. You break the tie.
I'm against it. I'm against it. So action item, finance officer, are you ready to move on the appointment of a finance officer? We have to. So Commissioner Wheeler did make a lot of good valid points. You don't want the LGC to come in and take over your books. I can say, excuse me, board, I will say, I have no problems. I really have no problems asking the LGC. If we need to do that, I would love for them to come in.
Yeah.
Me personally, who else could better tell you how to run your town if we're not doing it right than the local government commission? So I do agree, and in part with Commissioner Wheeler. They will come in and take over your books.
Okay.
But because we have nothing to hide,
We don't.
this board has nothing to hide, we want to keep that in mind. But in order to excuse me, we will make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting. And there's another outsource. So board, I ask you, are you ready to, board, I ask you, are you ready to appoint a finance? We're ready to appoint a finance officer. All right, recommendations? When we hire one, you will appoint one. You do not have to hire one. We do need someone to look over all of our vendors list, and before it is approved, Mayor Pro Tem and I sign. You do need a separate appointee. If you're not going to hire just yet a town clerk, finance officer, or a town clerk / finance officer, If you hire a seasoned town clerk finance officer, they also can play the role of a town administrator. That is what we've had here in the town of Elm City in times past, one who played all three roles. A very seasoned person. What is your pleasure tonight on the appointment of a finance officer that we do need? This is per Ann Moore with the treasurer's office that she and I were in physical conversation in Winston-Salem last week. Your finance officer has to be bonded, so they do understand. Mayor, we see you trying. There's always a turnover in not just your town, but other towns as well. But you do need a finance officer, an appointment. My recommendation would be, Tiana's been with us for a while. She's currently, through the Smart Fusion access and the remote access that she's given, she's on specific assignment to start to place all of these things into our system. It is not our fault that we don't have a finance officer. It's been a conflict of interest for both finance officers and accounting specialists who currently both work other jobs. It is my recommendation that Tiana be named as our finance officer. She comes at a lot less. She's been around for the longest, and she comes at a lot less of a rate than what we were paying our former finance officer, and she has a passion for it. That's just me working on the inside. Because if we don't appoint her, we're going to have to start to do budget cuts to be able to force someone to come in immediately and start to do these journal entries that she's already doing. All that vendor list that I named to you, with her having just within, I would say, a 5-day period, has begun to put that stuff into the system. So, board, what is your pleasure?
First of all, I will say this. I like Tiandra, but I would hate to throw her in this situation.
Amen.
Board, anyone else? She's agreed to take on that. She finds great pleasure in it, and she's been around amongst all the staff that we have now. She's been here the longest, and she's been training behind the scenes. That's my recommendation. Board. There's a motion on the floor that we appoint Tiandra Fields as finance officer. Is there a second? Motion has been moved and properly seconded. All in favor? Any opposers?
Nay.
There is one nay. Commissioner Willoughby, thank you. Don't need an appointment on an action item on the meeting with McKinsey tomorrow here. It will be a Hometown Strong initiative here. Board, are you ready to, we have interviews on the town clerk finance officer position. How ready are you to secure the position? We just need to know if you're ready. If there is an unreadiness, then we can table that.
I have some information on that. I would have to.
Closed session?
In closed session.
We'll do that. We'll skip that for now. Carolina Pump and Sewer. I'll go ahead and merge this into my admin report. So you'll hold right there. Public, if you will, please just stay with us. We want you to get all the information that you can. If you pull out your admin report that's in your packet here, Tri-State Utilities, through the use of state-funded grants, Tri-State Utilities